Hello and welcome to the second week of Christmas month. Christmas! So at the moment I'm actually kind of dressed up because I'm going to a Christmas party tomorrow. It's my work's Christmas party and there's supposed to be a 1920s theme to it, and this hat is about all I have that's kind of 1920s, but never mind. So before I get into what the video is about, I do have a couple of updates that I wanted to really talk about really quickly. One of my favourite musicals that I've discovered this year is Hamilton, and it's now finally come to England in the West End. And the tickets have been sold out for a long time. If you want to get tickets, they're stupidly expensive. And I kind of resigned to the fact I probably wasn't going to get to see it. However, there is an app you can get which allows you to enter a lottery where if you get picked, you can win, you can buy up to 2 tickets for £10 each. So £20 and you get 2 tickets. Considering some of the tickets are about £200 for 1 ticket, that's bloody good. And I only entered last Monday and I won on Thursday. I just looked at my phone, I was on work at work and I just won. And I had to ring up, book the tickets, tell my friend Selena who I took because she's the one who got me into Hamilton. I knew that of all my friends, she would be the one who would appreciate it the most. No offense to my friends or anything. But yeah, so it was, suddenly I had to get to London on Friday. So I had to get out early from work, drive all the way down to London. And then, you know, within 24 hours, I was then seeing my second favourite musical, I'm saying. It's actually pretty much up there with Les Mis now. It is almost joint. It was such a wonderful experience. It was an amazing experience. I can't believe it actually happened. It kind of came and went so quickly that I'm still kind of in denial that it happened, but it did. And it was just absolutely the best. And while I was there, I bought a couple of things, including a brochure, which of course I had to have. I'm still gutted when I originally saw Les Mis, I never got a programme. But yeah, it's a programme, as well as a pin, because I thought that looked really cool, a little pin. And it's an Oyster card holder, but I'm using it to keep my work pass. So I take this to work and buzz myself in. And a shot glass, which is a bit weird since I don't drink. But the reason I bought this is because one of the big songs in it is "I'm not throwing away my shot," which is actually what it says on the glass as well. So I figured it's a souvenir thing, so, you know, why not? So yeah, that was amazing. On top of that, I put my Christmas tree up. Here's a little video of my Christmas tree. I've done that, so I'll do it from the side. I was going to actually record in front of my Christmas tree, but it's too dark. I would have to have had the main lights on and it wouldn't have been as good. However, I have got some lights up here. This is my attempt to be Christmassy, and I do have some tinsel on the bed. So I'm trying to make this room Christmassy. So yes, the main thing about this video I wanted to talk about was a movie review. As I did mention last time, I was going to review a couple of movies. So every Christmas, we all watch our favourite Christmas films. We all have those that we have to watch every year. However, there are also those Christmas movies that might pass us by somehow, either because they just don't seem like our type of thing, or, I don't know, we just don't think to watch them every year. So I decided to watch 2 films I had never seen, 2 Christmas films I had never seen before. And I wanted one of them to be a classic Christmas film and one to be a well-known but more recent Christmas film. So the first one I chose to watch was It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, I've never seen it. Every year at Christmas, it completely passes me by. I've never thought to sit down and watch it. But this year I decided I was going to finally sit down and watch this Christmas classic and see if it's actually as good as everybody says it is. And I can certainly see why people put it on their lists of best Christmas films, because even though I was actually kind of surprised that while it is a Christmas film and Christmas does play a big part in the end, it's not solely about that. In fact, I was a bit surprised how much we see of this guy George Bailey's life before we get to the famous bit at Christmas where he's shown what life would have been like if he'd never been born. And I suppose looking back, it makes sense that we have to see so much of his life leading up to that, because we need to know and we need to be able to see what difference he does make in these people, in the people what difference he makes in the people, what difference he makes in the lives of the people around him. And it was actually interesting because I actually found the characters were fun. There was some humorous moments. I thought the acting was really good. The fact that it was black and white didn't really bother me. I mean, I watch black and white Doctor Who, so that doesn't bother me. I'm not a huge fan of old films. Anything before the 60s, I'm a little bit iffy on. But I found this one was amazing. And like I said, the moral and the whole idea behind it is timeless. It's a classic idea. And the way that it's executed, I thought was really good. And I genuinely found myself engaged throughout the whole thing. There were a few moments where I might have got a little bit, because some of the romance in it is not overly done, but it goes on a little bit longer than I would have liked. But other than that, I thought the whole story was really good. And of course, the ending is very schmaltzy. It's very, you know, it got me emotional. I'm going to admit it got me kind of emotional. I thought it was what difference he makes in the lives of the people around him. And it was actually interesting because I actually found the characters were fun. There was some humorous moments. I thought the acting was really good. The fact that it was black and white didn't really bother me. I mean, I watch black and white Doctor Who, so that doesn't bother me. I'm not a huge fan of old films. Anything before the 60s, I'm a little bit iffy on. But I found this one was amazing. And like I said, the moral and the whole idea behind it is timeless. It's a classic idea. And the way that it's executed, I thought was really good. And I genuinely found myself engaged throughout the whole thing. There were a few moments where I might have got a little bit, because some of the romance in it is not overly done, but it goes on a little bit longer than I would have liked. But other than that, I thought the whole story was really good. And of course, the ending is very schmaltzy. It's very, you know, it got me emotional. I'm going to admit it got me kind of emotional. I thought it was it's schmaltzy, but it's that kind of schmaltz you want at Christmas. And I could definitely see myself watching this again next year at Christmas, because I did genuinely think it was a very good film. And the other film I decided to watch was Elf. This is a film, again, that sort of passed me by each Christmas, even though it gets talked about and it is on lists of people's favourite films to watch at Christmas. One of my friends, Selena, in fact, she loves this film, and she gets all emotional at the end, apparently. So I thought to myself, well, I have to give this a go. I have to see I'm a bit iffy about Will Ferrell? Yeah. I can find him funny, but I can also find him irritating. And I think in this film, I found him a bit of both, but at the same time, you kind of have to love his enthusiasm in it. The story is about an orphan baby who's accidentally crawls into Santa's sack and grows up on the North Pole among the elves. But of course, he's a human, so he grows to about 6'3" when all the other elves are tiny. But he decides to, when he finds out his father is in New York, he decides to go there to find his father. And then, because he's never lived in the human world, he is very naive and very innocent, bit annoying, but also in a sort of fun way. He's definitely energetic. You gotta love his enthusiasm. I find it kind of amusing. I did find it funny in parts. I didn't find the ending particularly worth crying over or getting upset over. Well, not upset, but I didn't find it very it didn't hit me in the feels or whatever. I thought it was all right. I thought it was a good ending. I liked it. It was again, it was a schmaltzy kind of Christmas ending, but one that was actually really kind of nice. And like I said, the way that he's so innocent. Like I said, some of that can get a little bit awkward, but it can also be quite, I don't know, touching in a way. And like I say, there's scenes where he's in this toy shop and he just decorates the whole place, because I suppose it's not decorated enough. So he just spends all night and decorates it so beautifully in this toy shop. Which I thought was really nice. And he does that for his father's house as well, because of course his father's got another family, a wife and a child. I thought the whole thing with the father thing was a bit, I don't think it was played out as well as I'd hoped. For me, it felt very sudden, his development from being quite a, guy who rejects his own son that he knows about and is work centric and doesn't seem to have, you know, he's got morals, but the kind of morals of a typical New Yorker in films that portray cynical, jaded New Yorkers. But I thought his sort of switch and development came a bit suddenly. It just didn't feel natural to me, unfortunately, and I didn't find that part particularly engaging. But for the most part, like I said, what makes the film entertaining, I will admit, is Will Ferrell as an elf, and some of the scenes he has with his, I suppose, half brother, as well as the people who work in the Empire State Building and the toy store and stuff like that. There's some really nice interactions. It's a fun little film. It's definitely a fun, enjoyable Christmas kind of schmaltzy kind of film, and it's the type of one you do kind of want to watch at Christmas. And I could see myself watching it again at Christmas. I don't know if it would ever become a staple of watching it every year, but I would definitely watch it again. So I think I preferred It's a Wonderful Life personally. I don't know why, something about that one just kind of interested me a bit more, despite the fact that I found both films humorous. And I did enjoy both of them. So I'm glad I actually finally decided to watch them, because if I disliked either of them, I would have felt bad, because like I said, both films are actually very well liked, especially at Christmas. Well, mostly at Christmas. So yeah, that's my sort of quick opinion on two Christmas classics that I've never seen. And I think it's always nice at Christmas to watch films that you haven't seen. Not necessarily new films being released at Christmas each year, but ones that you may have slipped you by. Like I said, It's a Wonderful Life is a classic film. It's been out since 1946, and I've never seen it. So, you know, there's lots of good, wonderful films out there at Christmas time to watch that might slip you by, and I would definitely recommend finding some of them. Like I might actually watch an episode, I might actually watch a Christmas Carol movie that doesn't have the Muppets in. You never know, I might. But yeah, so if there's any films that you haven't watched that you decide to watch for the first time this year, I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, next week I am doing a video on my Christmas films I watch every year and have to watch every year. Not just movies though, I'm doing specials as well. Anything that's a Christmas episode or Christmas special or Christmas movie. I'm going to be talking about that next time. And of course then there is Christmas and Boxing Day, but I'll talk about that next time. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to update you more on anything else Christmassy I do, like my work's Christmas party tomorrow. We'll see about that next week. So bye bye.